me to speak on the history of how the book from City Hall made it to the library, and I was like, I don't know. So, in true librarian fashion, they had me doing some research. Anyway, I found the history of our city library to be rather interesting. And 47, they had, it was at the women's region or whatever, there was a location that they had, and then it moved over to Ruth Campbell and her husband Owen had a space that they rented out for like $25 a month that had their library, and then it moved over to what was the City Hall over there at where the police station is now. It used to be the City Hall, and that's where the library was held. Then it moved here to the city, and then of course 20 years ago we now have our brand new library, and all the books moved over to there. But in like 1956 there was like 8,000 pieces of articles that were housed in the Pacific Library, which was rather interesting. And I wish I would have brought my fact sheet in that I had shared, and apparently I learned some information that the librarians didn't know, so I felt pretty good about that. But it was a real fun celebration. There were a lot of people there from the community, and I didn't realize that that library had only been there 20 years. Of course, it was there when I moved to Pacific, so I thought it was always there, I guess, not realizing the history. So that was a fun thing to be a part of. We had our holiday staff party last Thursday. I think all the staff had a really good time. We catered Sticky's barbecue, and they seemed to really enjoy that. I was concerned I was taking away something fun by the employees bringing a dish, but they seemed to enjoy the fact that we catered at barbecue, and they had a really good time. I did something a little bit different. We also passed out the gift cards. You guys signed all the cards. We passed out the gift cards for all the employees for Bigfoot Java, as far as $20 gift cards, and they added the additional $5 so for the bonus for buying all those cards, so which was really nice. And then we also did something that was a little bit different this year. I was hearing about employees, in the years of service, and one of the things I think is really important is people that dedicate their time to our city and the longevity. And we weren't really doing anything to recognize that. So at this holiday party, and I hope to do this moving forward, is we recognize those that had 10 years or more of service with the city. And the people from 10 years to 14 years, we presented them with certificates. And then there were a few employees that had 15 plus years, and we'd like to do this moving forward, because we presented the people that had more than 15 years, which there were 4, with a little kind of statuette, recognizing their years of service. The 2 employees that had 15 years was Jim Shunke and Detective Newton, and 2 employees with 19 years of service, Phil Burkhart and Joanne Fetch. And so they really appreciate it. It was a nice little surprise for everybody, and I think it went over quite well, and I hope that's something that we get started and do every year and recognize those with 15 years or more service. And I think we should break down the categories like 15, 20, 25, and stuff. So hopefully we'll continue doing that moving forward. I want to remind everybody that City Hall will be closed December 24th and 25th. We are open on the 26th, and I think you'll find a limited staff. Vacation time is being taken, which is understandable, but we will be opening and conducting business here on Friday. Also, next Monday is the 5th Monday. I will be conducting our 5th Monday here in Council Chambers at 6:30, so there won't be a regular council meeting. It's to come and speak to the mayor and express any concerns or comments or anything that you would like to see us do, and maybe talk about some goals for 2016. With that, I really don't have anything else to share. I guess I'll share one other thing that I did this Saturday along with Councilmember Walker. We helped out the Valley Regional Fire Authority with toy distribution Saturday at Auburn High. That was a really great experience, a lot of fun. I think we passed out toys to nearly 3,000 kids, helped over 582 families, I think it was. And so it was a really neat experience. We got there early, or we're there to early afternoon, and trust me, I was exhausted by the time we got done. It was fun. We had some pictures of the common area there and Auburn High, and all these tables with just piles of toys. And the community that we live in here in Auburn, Algona, and Pacific are so generous and so giving. It was really nice to be able to help all those families, and I was very honored to be asked to be a part of that. So with that, I'll just say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. No comments on reports, please.
I just wondered,
No comment, please. Anyway, so I just want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And moving on to the next report, City Administrator.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank the council for the gift cards and holiday cards, as well as the holiday lunch that was sponsored by the city. We really appreciate it, and it was really enjoyable to get everybody together and discuss whatever. The uniform union negotiations continue. Tonight I will be meeting in executive session with the council to update them and get some direction. I'm still working, well, I talked about the personnel policy, yes, so let's put that up. I have spoken with Auburn IT about trying to get the technology committee together to go to Auburn City Hall so we can look at the sound system by Avidex to see if it's something we would want for the city of Pacific. We tried to get it scheduled for the 18th, but there was a conflict as the city of Auburn had, I believe it was a blood drive. And so that was being held in their council chamber. So we're going to try and shoot for this month, hopefully by the meeting time, which I believe is the third Thursday. So I'll let you know, hopefully once we get that done, we can then move on to having those nice microphones that our mayor so wants. That's the goal, to get it done early in the year, hopefully by February. I've also spoken to Auburn IT about some of the issues we're having with passwords on the tablets, the Surface tablets. They haven't been quite as responsive, and they usually aren't this time of year, which is no excuse, so I'm going to get on them again to make sure we get this addressed. My goal had been for everybody to work just great by the first meeting in January, and we're close. We have a couple that need to be looked at, so I hope you bear with me, we'll get it done. The state audit for 2013 is nearly complete. The lead audit investigator who oversees the cash reconciliation part and activity told staff that she was giving us an A to an A+ for the work, and I really give staff all the credit for that. They did a great job in getting things together, and it was really good to hear that. So we just have a couple of cleanup items to do with the auditors, and hopefully we'll have the final exit conference by late January or early February. I'm also hoping to get the audit moved earlier in the year, so it's maybe mid to late summer, so that we don't have these conflicts coming up at the end of the year. You know, with having budget and audit and whatever else going on. Today is my last work day until next year. So if we get this meeting going quicker, we get no kidding. So yeah, I'll be enjoying some R&R with my wife and family, and I will be in town, more of a staycation, but I'm looking forward to it. And I just wanted to say, you know, I have a great staff working with everybody in the city. It's been wonderful, and I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? All right, thanks, Richard. Okay, and we'll have court, we'll have the report at the end of our case for the community services.
Good evening to everybody. Merry Christmas. On Thursday, Jim Morgan and I attended the CDBG grant capital procedure meeting, and it was held in Renton. This is just one of the first steps that we're going to take to get our capital improvement. The guidelines and procedures were discussed to move forward. There's still many things that we have to do before we can move forward with this project, but we're very excited. Friday was the senior Christmas lunch through Catholic Community Services. We had 26 seniors for lunch, which is down from Thanksgiving, but you know, the seniors are visiting their families for Christmas. We had the whole turkey lunch, and Santa stopped by the night before with gift bags for all the seniors, so that was nice. Both the senior center and the youth side are having pizza parties on Friday. The youth side is having their Christmas party and pizza after Christmas, because everybody was so busy before Christmas that Joanne decided to do it after Christmas. The seniors are doing the pizza party on Friday. Catholic Community Services, that's their holiday, their Christmas holiday, so we're going to have pizza for everybody. And anybody in the community can come, they just need to let me know. And then after that, we're going to have a regular Friday 2 p.m. movie. On New Year's Eve, the Senior Center will be toasting in the New Year with sparkling apple cider at their lunch. The youth side, Joanne told me, is going to be very busy this next 2 weeks because school's out. So they're going to be having craft games and all the amazing things that Joanne does on a regular basis, but on a much bigger scale. Of course, there will be Taco Tuesday tomorrow, and please support our youth program. And of course, with all the holiday events that are going on, both sides of the house are still running our regular programs, such as the senior lunch, pet food, which was today, and out of the kindness of my heart is extended till tomorrow. Stone soup, tiny tots, basketball, and afternoon snacks.
Question? Next question. Over at Albertsons right now is a community food drive for the Algona Pacific Food Bank. They also have jars that are asking for donations for the Algona Pacific Food Bank. And they also have the tear-off $1, $3, $5 donations. Every time I ask, is it for the Algona Pacific Food Bank?
That's not the senior side.
Is that you?
We're the ones who've been around doing it for 20
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that, because sometimes they don't really act like they know what they're talking about when I ask.
Those are the answers. That's the answer.
Thank you.
But the police department is doing a food drive for us, and Pacific Partnerships with the barrel that's out front here in City Hall are doing it for the stone soup.
Okay.
Any other questions from council? Thank you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Okay. Report.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Brief report tonight. A couple things that are going on in the Public Works Department at this time of the year. There's annual maintenance that's going on, that we take some of the equipment and get it ready for the spring and summer season. So some of the vehicle and equipment maintenance is underway. We're doing some extra street sweeping because of that windstorm that came through last weekend and last week, so a little extra cleanup came our way. Had a couple employees attend a training session that was, if I get the acronym right here, it's a CECL training. And CECL stands for Certified Erosion and Sedimentation Control Lead. That's certainly a mouthful, but it's an important certification for our stormwater programs and our NPDES Permit 2 program. And essentially this credential allows the staff to be aware of and know how to look for proper erosion control on construction sites as well as our own activities. And so that was the training and that knowledge we're bringing back onto staff. One other item that you'll be hearing more about in the coming, in the next year or the new year, is I'm working with the city attorney and Richard and the mayor on procurement and policies and procedures. So this Public Works is one of those power users of government contracts. So this really looks at how we utilize some of our contracts for the different types of services that we provide. A lot of heavy lifting involved in this effort, but you'll be hearing more about that in the new year. So at this point, this is it for Public Works, unless there's any questions.
A couple things. One, along Pacific Avenue, on the Algona side of the road, where the trees came down, the power poles out, there's trees cut up and laying on the side of the road. That's our property on the east side of the road. We don't do anything with that wood. Just leave it over there, because I mean, it's chopped up in sections. I know they did that when they replaced the power poles and the lines. I just don't know whether we as a city are going to do anything with that wood.
I certainly haven't looked at that as far as property ownership. If it was the city, I was not aware of that.
I'm just bringing it up because I see it every day when I drive that for work.
Okay.
The other issue is the entrance to the water wells. One morning, I think, and I don't want to, I apologize for not bringing it up last weekend, but I go by there about 10 to 4 in the morning. There's a tractor-trailer rig backed up, which I was very impressed with, that he backed the tractor-trailer rig in, but that's where I think he was using it to take a snooze, you know, but he had his tractor trailer backed up into our driveway up to the wells. So might behoove the police or whoever just to kind of keep an eye on that, because I was pretty damn surprised.
Can I ask you what time?
That was about, I go by there about 10 to 4 in the morning.
Okay.
So.
Any other questions from council? Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Okay, community development.
Mayor, council members, just a brief report. Number one, I mentioned the last time, and bless you, don't know that. Planning Commission was canceled for this month, and it would have been tomorrow. We didn't have too many things for them, but they're going to be busy coming January. So, with a number of code changes and comp plan policy changes. The other thing I'd like to just mention, we're still continuing looking at the Morgan property up on West Hill. We're still trying to get some information from King County on some that we need in terms of segregating out the house and the drain field from any potential purchase of that property. They've been slow to getting back to us on some information. The last thing is we do have coming up in first study session in January, which we'll probably discuss a little more, is the marijuana regulations. And if the council is not aware of it, in the last budget that was passed by the U.S. legislature, there were regulations in there, allowances for the legal use of medical marijuana in all 50 states, and I know our city attorney will be putting together a memo to address that in relationship to the upcoming discussions on the marijuana regulations.
All right.
It was brought up during the conversation on the conservation of water. That's something that I did have an issue with in relationship to the facilities of manufacturing marijuana and the amount of water consumption.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Any large industrial environment that's going to use our well water, it's got to be considered,
right,
the impact and how that's going to affect us.
Right, and that's one of the things we'll be looking at in the comp plan update, is our capital facilities plan. Yeah, and the city has to meet the concurrency requirements underneath the RCWs, the revised codes of Washington. One of them is that we provide water for the anticipated uses within the city at built out, as shown in our comprehensive plan. And definitely marijuana producers or processors, they are heavy users of water. And that's something that will have to be looked at as part of our review of our capacity to provide water.
So, Councilmember Olivera, how do we know we have enough water to allow? I mean, do you anticipate having that information?
Yeah, we'll be looking at that information.
Okay.
Yeah, because there are studies out there in terms of the water usage for facilities, marijuana producers or processors. Plus, we do have studies on with our wells, and Lance will be able to provide this information and his crew as to how much water we can pull from those wells and what capacity we can provide citywide. And that's why we do the capital facilities plan, is look at our anticipated growth, land use growth, and whether we can provide that source as part of the concurrency requirements of the Growth Management Act.
Any other questions from council? Councilmember Sutton.
Tying back to another earlier discussion on the conservation, since the state does now allow and in some cases encourage rainwater harvest with rooftop systems, can we look at encouraging that type of collection and storage system in our industrial uses where we have water concerns with the volume of use by a particular business?
I believe we can. I want to defer to our Public Works Director in that respect. When you get into an industrial area and what type of industrial business it is, you have to be careful in looking at what type of water they're collecting. So,
yeah, assuming for, not for any sort of potable use, not for any cooking or preparation, but irrigation, for instance.
Right. Definitely.
Other questions from council?